Hello and welcome all. I hope you are doing good. I'm making this video so that you get to understand the working process regarding our project. Our company serves customers with customer-focused services that can be used to build high-quality products. For the development process, there are initial stages as follows. The first stage is defining team and scope of work. The second stage is agile software development methodology. Third one is pricing and contract signing. The fourth stage is defining feature and pricing. Fifth one is wireframe. Sixth is content strategy. Seventh is building, and eighth one is refining. Now, the first stage, that is defining team and scope of work. It consists of writing assumptions, defining core and extended team members, use case diagram, risk and difficulty matrix, cost and timeline discussion. Let's begin with assumptions. Here, we assume or we define the possible features of the users or clients regarding the project and start the process accordingly. After that, we decide the core team and extended team of a particular project. Core team involves the product manager and marketing team, while the extended team involves research, public relations, legal, and many more. The next step is use case diagram, which is the very first step that depicts the ability of users to get involved with the system. It is the fastest building document and it is created to ensure that both parties are in agreement. For example, if a user searches for a website, he will search the document, browse the document, download and preview the documents, view various events, and so on. Also, as you can see here, for an influencer app, the first influencer will create an account to different social media apps that include social media verification, then booking a slot and booking confirmation. The next step is risk and difficulty matrix. Risk matrix will help you to lessen the possibility of risk to optimize the performance of your product. It is given by clients, while the difficulty matrix is prepared by us. This will help you to prioritize the list of items and their applicability for your project. Now the next comes the price range discussions, where we will provide you the extent of time and cost. After the first stage, there comes the second stage, that is agile software development methodology. It consists of task management board setup, epics, user stories, activity and flow diagram. Agile is a software development methodology to build a software using short iterations of a few weeks so that the development is aligned with the changing business needs. Now, this is done in a task management tool named Asana, where we help our teams to organize, plan, and execute their work. The next step is flowchart diagram and an activity diagram. A flowchart is a diagrammatic representation of flow or set of logical connections in a system. It determines the sequence of steps or the decisions needed to perform. For example, you can see here how the steps are performed in a sequence. Like while doing an online shopping, the customer will browse the item, check it out, and then add it to the cart, and after then log out. Similarly, in an activity diagram, it will give you a detailing of the process involved. Taking a similar example of online shopping, the customer will find categories accordingly, search the same items in different styles and colors, add the filters, add it to the cart, fill in the credentials for payment, and so on. Third stage of the software development process is wireframe, UI, and UX. It consists of a paper sketch where we give a rough diagram of our process. The next one is low fidelity wireframes. This is a digital version of the paper prototype in grayscale. The next step is color psychology, which is important for the success of your content. Here what we do, we decide a particular color according to the services we are providing. For example, if we are designing a food app, we put a red color on the app because it makes people hungry, like pizza, McDonald's, KFC, Pepsi, etc. Therefore, good choice has a great impact, but poor color choice can negatively change the impact of your message. Now, next step involved in this stage is mock-up. Mock-up are created in digital form. These are fill in the visual details such as colors, typography, etc. They are usually static. Now, the next step is high fidelity wireframes. These are more complete representations of the end product than low fidelity wireframes. They can be extremely helpful during the early stage conceptualizing. It is the fastest and easily approachable step that gives you a glimpse of the end product. The next step is animation and graphics, which represents the motion graphics on a single frame basis. Now, the next step is micro interactions. These work on minor details like sounds, vibrations, notifications, slide animations, swiping, etc. For example, when we activate our profiles, when we download any content or any profile. So these are the examples of micro interactions. This step is the most significant one, but yet the most ignored one by the vendors. Now, the fourth stage of the software development process is content strategy. Content modeling or content strategy, it tells you about the buyer's psychological journey and documents all the content types you have given for a project. It involves site-wide hierarchy, which explains the features and functions of the whole website or an app. It is divided into 3 tiers. For example, tier 1 consists of homepage, navigation, contact, etc. And if the customer is not satisfied, he can check for more. That is tier 2, which consists of services and blocks, and tier 3, which consists of privacy policy, terms and conditions. Content strategy also involves individual wide hierarchy. Individual wide hierarchy is opposite to site-wide hierarchy. It explains the features and the functions of individual pages. Its goal is to set content as a priority. For example, if we look into the registration page, we will first log into the page, we will receive an OTP, and after that we will be able to log in or sign up. Now, the next term is information architecture, which is the art of organizing and structuring information on a website, mobile or web application. It tells you about the connectivity of features in a workflow and clarifies the needs and requirements. After information architecture, there is copywriting and legal step, that is privacy policy and terms and conditions. After content strategy, there comes the next stage, that is building. Building involves software architecture, which details the significant components, their structures and how they interact with each other. It meets all technical and operational requirements. It involves test cases, where testers write test cases for possible human errors and developer errors. The tester, designer and project manager use this application in their services for a better user experience. It also involves class diagram and ER diagram. This step is essential for a robust and high quality product. The planning is done before coding. It provides a quick change in the settings. Coding refers to the transforming the design of a system in computer language. This will help the developers to detect the problem earlier and prevent them. Now, after coding, there comes the next step, that is testing. It is an essential part of the software development process. It ensures reliability, security, and high performance. These methods are used to implement various strategies. The methods are, the first one is functional testing. Functional testing checks the functionality of a software system, whether the given input has output or not. Then comes the performance testing. The performance testing tests the performance of the application in critical situations like server errors, transferring large files, and many more. Now, the deployment. It includes all the activities, steps, and processes to bring the software into action. Now, the last stage of software development process is refining. In refining, we set numbers accordingly, and after that we set analytics. Taking an example of Twitter, where we can check the growth and activation metrics, in which we can check how many new users are there, how many activated users are there on a monthly and daily basis. Then comes the engagement metrics that tells multiple logins per day, time spent by the users, number of tweets done by the users. After engagement metrics, there comes the retention metrics. It is important to let us know how many users come back to your product once they used it. For example, if 20% users use your product and then they stop using them, now when you are providing some coupon or an offer to them, we need to check that how many of them come back for your product. After retention metrics, there is a user happiness matrix, which is measured by NPS, Net Promoter Score. The system asks customers how much they are willing to recommend our product to their friends and families by giving a score from 0 to 10 and the decisive reasons for this. The last one is revenue metrics, which will let you know about the annual and monthly income generated from business activities such as product sales, commissions, and subscription. So, thank you so much. we decided